Greetings, this is Dr. Bonnie at the Journey Home Studio in downtown Easton. It's Friday, so happy Friday. I got a new tripod, so hopefully the visual is a little better on this one. We'll see. I'm not sure my voice will carry all the way up there, but we'll also see about that. So we'll continue in our book of saying goodbye to 2020, but in that process, there's so many things that are still happening, and even though there's hope it's a lot of uncertainty at the same time. And so I thought today what we would focus on is gratitude. Gratitude seems to always help us in seeing hope and being able to have a loving heart. And so what I thought I'd show you today is a technique where we put gesso, but this time white gesso, and then some color and maybe some other things. So let's start with our Buddhist bell. And as we hear the ringing of the bell, we come to stillness in our heart and in our soul, and feel it in our body. And just have a sense of our breath, breathing in, letting out all of the stress of the day. So we're going to put gesso on this page, just plain white gesso. And again, we're going to use a credit card. And I'm just going to, this is heavy, get some gesso out of here. A big glob. It's like icing a cake. And I'm going to roll up my sleeves because I'm always getting, especially when I do gesso, I get gesso on my sleeve and then it won't come off. So we'll put some gesso on this to give the page texture. We have lots of blobs, so we can make some designs in the gesso. As we recreate this book from an old story from 1941 to 2020. And as we're mindful of putting this white gesso on the page, just think about what we are grateful for. So yesterday, I was able to watch the city workers replace the skating rink. So for those of you who don't know, there's a skating rink in front of my apartment on the city street. It's pretty awesome. And it's synthetic, and so it's not really ice. And they had built it last week, but because of the curves in the road itself, where it goes up in the middle of the street apparently, it was a little wobbly or something, so they had to rebuild it. And so yesterday I got to see the workers rebuilding the skating rink. So I'm going to take a little paper here and put it between these pages so I don't get any white on the black from yesterday. So I am very grateful of the great apartment I have in downtown Easton because I get to see things that are happening on the street. And right now, I get to see the skaters. It was a young family today with a little child, probably 5 maybe, teaching him how to skate. That was fun. And at night when the lights are on, it's really pretty. So gratitude. Gratitude to the men who were fixing it, building it all anew. Like, it was amazing all the work they had to do. But gratitude to them for doing that, for all of the people of Easton, so they could go skating. Gratitude for the postal worker who yesterday brought me Phil's coffee. I was almost out, all the way from California. And gratitude for having this wonderful studio so I can do this work and where I can have people come and do work with me. And gratitude for all the people who have supported me so I could buy all these wonderful art supplies. So I'm wondering what you all are grateful for. I think you could post it in the comments. I won't see it live like some channels do, but you could put what you're grateful for down in the comments. So here we have Gesso on the page, kind of all white, almost like the skating rink. So I think what I'm going to do, I haven't used this on Gesso before. I'm going to take some of the spray paint. Well, maybe not this one. Let's just put it this way. Not sure this will work with Gesso, but it's fun to experiment. Put a little color in there. Let's see what happens. And this will actually be our first layer. So today's will be in 2 parts because we'll have to let this dry. But we'll put some really warm, nice colors on here to represent our gratitude. Maybe we'll use a baby wipe and see what happens. It's just fun to experiment. I'm grateful to have the time and space just to play. Just to play with these colors. How about some purple? Let's see what happens when I put purple on. It's very faint, but it's becoming very colorful. I'm not sure I like that there, but we'll wait and see what that will happen when it dries. And so maybe I'll use this one. Ooh, that one's nice. So we're going to leave that there, we'll let it dry, and then we'll come back and add to it. And so until a little bit later, and look, I even have a little remote control that I can stop this. So welcome back. The page is pretty dry. Could be drier. But what we're going to do now is a fun thing. We're going to take dressmaking pattern paper and put more texture on the page with this. We're just going to add another layer. So I have a lot of gratitude to my friends who have supplied me with dressmaking patterns. So just put a little matte medium on the page. Remember we did this the other day. Spread it around. And then add pieces of the dressmaking pattern to that. Probably didn't need that much matte medium. So we're just adding another texture, another layer of texture, just to make it a little more interesting. And you can still see the colors and the texture from before through that. And it doesn't matter if the pages are wrinkled, it just adds more texture. So it's just not about perfection, it's just about adding layers. Just being mindful and to remember that this is about gratitude. So the whole time, being aware of our breath, being aware of the gratitude we have for different things in our life. Because certainly, even with COVID and everything that's happening, there is a lot to be grateful for. Friends, family, community. Now I think what we're going to do is we're going to not put it on this side. We're just going to put it on this side and see what happens. Now, another thing we're going to add to this is, if you remember, we used baby wipes to paint with the other day. And I keep all those baby wipes because they have these wonderful colors on them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add pieces of the baby wipes to this to add more texture. And we're going to maybe need more matte medium for that. I'm not sure. But we'll put more on just to be safe. So we're just going to add some pieces of this. Add more layers of texture. And also, it's significant because we use this on the other page. And I think this was from the pages from February, January and February. The colors of the great things. A lot of those things, probably all of those things, are still in our life, right? So I still have connections with my grandchildren through FaceTime. So I'm grateful for whoever made FaceTime. I'm grateful for that whole process so I can stay in touch with them. I need a little more matte medium there. So in this moment of gratitude, even though we still have, right, the COVID out there, we still have those times of fear, those feelings of not maybe being safe sometimes. we still have this wonderful time, wonderful friends, wonderful community. So we're remembering that in our times of gratitude by putting the colors from that page on here, adding to it. Now, because I'm putting so much on here, this might have to dry overnight, I'm not sure. So we may have to finish this tomorrow. But we see that those things that we had before COVID, BC, are still in our lives. Even if they're just in our memory, they are there. And those connections, maybe I'll get a vaccine and then I'll be able to travel and see my grandchildren again. Maybe that's all. Now, I'm going to add one more thing before we end for the day. And then tomorrow, we will put more on it. What I want to do, and you can see I practice this. I always have, let's see, that's not it. I love using stencils. So, we're going to put some color on with ink. Spray ink. And we'll see how different it comes on this page than this page. So just a little spray. Then take this page that has ink on it and put it on this page. And we use the paper towel roll and take off excess, but also lovely. And then what I'll do after we're off air here is I'll take this stencil and clean it off on another page. We never waste any color. Lovely. Wow. Lots of color. Fun. And so what we will see is what we can do with this tomorrow. Because this really has to dry. I'll put lots of stuff on here. Just going to use the baby wipe a little bit on here. The baby wipes were great because when I took art into the gel art supplies, I couldn't take paintbrushes. There were so many things I couldn't take in with me, but what we would do is improvise. And so then when I learned about painting with the baby wipes, I could take the baby wipes in. And then with all the extra baby wipes we had, well, not extra, the ones we had like this, that had all the colors, we used that to cover boxes. So the women would get things from commissary in little boxes, and we would cover the boxes. But one time, I took in the matte medium in a jar, and they wouldn't let me, of course, because it was glass. So I had to improvise. But I got it in there, and we were able to use it. So this is our day 4. And this is about gratitude. And tomorrow, this is part 1, gratitude. Tomorrow, look at this, looking like the Grinch. Tomorrow will be part 2, gratitude. And we will add something more and finish this page. So until then, this is Dr. Bonnie signing off. Namaste. Ubuntu. Ashe.